for his statement, and I now give the floor to the Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation.
Mr. Minister, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank our Tunisian friends for a very timely meeting today. It's obvious that a candid exchange of opinions within the Security Council on the issue of the Middle East settlement is something that has been ripe. We need to have an overview of our preceding steps, determine what the reasons are for the continued impasse in the area of the Middle East settlement, and also determine what will be the main key areas for joint work in future. Getting to a lasting and comprehensive Middle East settlement is something that should remain in the focus of the international community. The Palestinian question continues seriously impacting the general situation in the Middle East and North Africa. This region is feeling the various consequences of geopolitical experiments, namely the concept of the so-called rules-based world order pushed forward by the Western colleagues. Obviously, the steps aimed at dismantling the frameworks approved by the Security Council, the international framework, on replacing classical diplomacy by the so-called diplomatic deals is not something that can provide us with a desired result. Quite the contrary. Such unilateral acts can only push further away the prospect for a fair settlement of existing issues. It's therefore important to make sure that the process that was launched last year of normalizing the relations between Israel and Arab states, which we overall welcome, that this process be aimed at solving the issue of stabilizing the whole region and not be used so as to put aside the Palestinian question until the so-called better days. And the first step in resuming the peace process should be reaffirming the Security Council resolutions and other foundational documents, including the Madrid principles. This applies to the illegal settlement activities, the plans to annex the occupied Palestinian territories, the status of Jerusalem, the issue of refugees and borders. All of this needs to be determined through a direct political dialogue between the Palestinians and Israelis. Of course, the legitimate Israeli concerns having to do with ensuring security also need to be taken into account. The basis for a stable settlement, meeting the aspirations of both sides, remains the formula of the two-state solution. We are convinced that UNRWA is the only entity which can effectively assist millions of Palestine refugees, and not only in the West Bank and Gaza, but also in contiguous Arab states. The international financial support to UNRWA, therefore, has to continue. Together with our Egypt and other partners, we intend to continue help the Palestinian political movement so as to restore unity on the basis of the Palestine Liberation Platform. In addition to overcoming the division, this could create the foundation for a serious dialogue with Israel, stabilize the situation, improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza and around it. We think that international efforts to relaunch direct Israeli-Palestinian negotiations is something that is absolutely needed as part of trying to resolve the whole range of final status issues. The quartet is the only legitimate mechanism which is approved by the Security Council resolution. We are convinced that the quartet, in close cooperation with parties to the conflict and key Arab states, can play a very, very effective role. We in Russia positively assess the initiative launched by Mahmoud Abbas to convene an international conference on Middle East settlement. Our country initially also spoke in favor of such a forum, and this is enshrined in Resolution 1850 of our Council. In support of this initiative, we also propose that we give thought to holding in summer of 2021 of a ministerial meeting with the participation of Russia, US, UN, and the EU as members of the quartet, and the 4 Arab states, Egypt, Jordan, United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, and of course with the participation of Israel and Palestine. It would also be important to invite Saudi Arabia as the author of the Arab Peace Initiative to this. Such a meeting would become a working platform for comprehensive analysis of the situation and assisting countries in launching a dialogue. I'd like to use this opportunity to also recall you of our readiness to organize in Moscow a highest level Israeli-Palestinian meeting. This is in reaction to the desires and requests by the countries. And we're open to other proposals as well. We're open to comments and corrections, and we call on our regional and international partners to heed these ideas and invitation to dialogue to start ways of working collectively for peace and stability in the entire Middle East. I thank you for your attention.
على بيانهم والآن
I thank Mr. Lavrov